All right. It says we're live, Brian. I'm going to go and look on Facebook just to confirm. Yes, we are live on Facebook. That's great. And this is the first time I've used StreamYard in some time. And I just want to make sure everything's working correctly. And interestingly, oh yeah. Yep. No. Newest activity. That's what we want. Okay, and we're in the group too, Brian. This is great. This is very exciting. How's it going, everybody?
Hey, everyone.
That's right. Carl, what's up, dude? I haven't seen you in a long time. What's going on? You still designing Tesla stuff or doing something else? Very curious. You building your email list? Oh, we got Jacqueline as well. Spoon bending mistress. This woman taught me how to bend spoons with my mind. No joke. You know what? Not only am I not joking, but I'm going to show you guys something. Craig Perrine.
Wow, is Craig Perrine here?
Craig Perrine is here. Oh, you know what? I moved not too long ago, and I thought inside this amazing dragon box I had my one of my bent spoons, but I don't. I have a fork, but I didn't bend this one with my mind. This was a manual bend. Oh, manual bend. But I have a bunch of spoons somewhere around here that I bent with my mind in a workshop in California that Jacqueline taught me several years ago. What's up, Craig Perrine? And yeah, all sorts of cool people are here. This is interesting. Brian and I are live streaming at 1:25 in the afternoon. We decided to use StreamYard today, and we haven't been getting much interaction, frankly, with our recent live streams. It's been a bit of a ghost town, which is fine. I mean, it's part of the deal. It kind of sucks, but I wonder what about using StreamYard is creating such a, like got so many people to pay attention so quickly. Well, I don't know. All sorts of cool people. So, all right, well, word to the wise, try new tools. Sometimes awesome things happen. Maybe it's not even StreamYard's fault. Maybe we're 125 is our magic number, Brian, and that's when we need to live stream in the future. But for those of you, I'm Tellman Knudsen. This is Brian Edmondson. Brian and I go way back. We worked together in the early 2000s. First, Brian was a student of mine and then went on to become an extremely incredible team member for many years. And our most successful membership program was called the List Building Club. And we had over 30,000 paying members in the List Building Club, or that went through the List Building Club. There's a monthly subscription, and Brian did the vast majority of the training videos for all of our new list building students. It was awesome, and he's in law school right now. He's about to finish his second to last semester in law school in Philly, and for whatever reason, he's now we're teaming back up, and we're doing list. But why? How do you justify that in your own mind, Brian? How like, I'm glad we're working together again. It's great, but like, it just seems really strange to me that you're about to finish law school. You've been at this for a bunch of years. You've been working your tail off. Like, you're very good, apparently. I mean, so you say. Apparently, you're a very good student. I haven't verified your claims, but why are you compelled to revisit list building and the work we've done together in the past? Like, what's that like for you?
That's a really good question. It's one that I ask myself every night before I go to bed. But in all seriousness,
you ask yourself, how can I how can I just get a chance to talk to Tellman a little bit more? Is that the question?
That's exactly it. The opportunity presented itself. I was like, oh, I have to jump on that.
You'd be surprised how many people ask that question.
Throw everything I've been doing the last 3 years out the window to come back and work with Tellman. Why not?
No, but seriously.
But all seriousness, so one thing and this is something we've been discussing a lot, is, as you mentioned, back in the early 2000s is when we were working together and doing the list building club and basically teaching people how to build their list and do email marketing. And something we've both noticed, and when we kind of got back into touch, this is something that we both identified and kind of created the impetus for us to start working together again, is there seems to be kind of like a resurgence in the zeitgeist of email marketing. A lot of people are starting to realize
a resurgence in the zeitgeist.
Resurgence in the zeitgeist. That's right.
That's a lot of syllables.
So, yeah, well, anyways, with this resurgence in the zeitgeist, we thought, what a great opportunity to come back together and work together and talk about list building and how it's still working today and will continue to work for the foreseeable future.
At least we think it will. Who really knows for sure? We can only really look at the past. But yeah, email, so interesting, right? I mean, all these other internet trends, they come and they go, they rise and they fall, and email has stood the test of time. Email is the only internet digital form of communication that has stood the test of time. Everything else comes and goes because everything else is privately owned, and all businesses rise and fall. But an individual medium for communication that was not created by an individual, but was created by the community, which email was ultimately. Obviously there was the first email, but did you know that email is 50 years old? Okay, the first email was sent, some would say the first email was sent in the mid 60s. Others say the first email was sent in 1971, I believe. And so it's quite interesting, right? And so, so why the heck are we talking about email when there's a very different title on this video, Brian?
Oh, the title of the video. So
the title.
Tell me, I know a lot of things. Yeah, I know a lot of things about you, but the one thing I don't think I know is the story about your twisted and deformed legs.
Do you actually not know that story?
I don't think I do.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, so my old friend from college, who for a while was the COO of my company, then we weren't friends for a very long time, and now we're kind of like rekindling our friendship. His name's Teal, and he's in town, and so we were hanging out last night, and he couldn't remember all the whole story, and so I told it to him, and he was like, "Oh my God," And so here's the deal, guys. So some of you know that distance running is really important to me, and some of you know that I attempted to run across the United States of America, raising money for youth homelessness, and we created a documentary called Run, Tellman, Run. It was cool. It was in 2009 that happened. And in high school and in college, well, I'll tell you more about that in a minute. So here's the story. When I was a kid, I was born with a condition. And the condition was that I had deformed legs. And the particular type of condition that I had was called femoral antiversion. And femoral antiversion means that your femurs, which is the bone, in your hip, and I'm trying to do this, in your hip and thigh that goes from your hip down to your knee, that's your femur. And both of my femurs were twisted inward. So both of my feet were twisted inward and at like 45-degree angles, and my knees were as well. I basically couldn't walk without my knees banging into each other and without tripping over my own own feet as a kid. And as you can imagine, I got made fun of a lot about it. It was a huge, like, self-confidence destroying aspect. Like, it made me a big target. I was already pretty bad socially. I was terrible academically, and I had no hand-eye coordination, so I was no good at sports. So basically, I had a real, like, hard time in grade school and the first, junior high and rolling into high school. Had a lot of social anxiety issues, a lot of anger, whatever. And so my legs were deformed. And when I was fairly young, my parents split up, and it was not a happy time for anyone. And so I went through several years, basically junior high, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, without going in for my annual leg exams at the hospital, because, like, divorce, kid scheduling, all that stuff, like, a lot of those things get messed up, right? So, which I can now tell you from experience as an adult. And so what ended up happening was, I got picked on all the time because of my legs. I was in Boy Scouts, and as I got a little bit older, I would go on hikes with a frame pack, and I did start getting stronger and was, like, managing, but it was still really awkward and it sucked, and I still got picked on a lot. And somehow my friend Matt Daigle, maybe he'll watch this video. Matt Daigle, I've told this story a few times online, but I have to give, like, Matt Daigle a double high five and the biggest virtual hug ever, because the guy changed the trajectory of my life. So Matt Daigle, we both rode M14. That was our school bus. We went to Mascoma High School, and we both rode M14. And Matt Daigle in junior high was running cross country running with the high school students, and he was, like, kicking butt. He could run like the wind. Okay, this guy, he was just like a prodigy. He was there. He was in it. It was just like he was cooking with fire, and at a young age. And cross country running is now the most popular sport in America, but, like, in 1990 it wasn't. Okay, it was definitely the nerd sport, and the sport that the kids played if you couldn't play any other sports. And so I ended up, Matt was tasked at the end of 8th grade with finding some new recruits, and we rode the bus together. Oh, Kara is here. She rode M14 sometimes too. So funny. And so Matt at the end of 8th grade was like, "Yo, we need runners, and, like, you're tall and skinny." I'm like, "Dude, I can just barely walk. What's your problem?" And he's like, no, we need runners so bad. And I'm like, "Dude, no, like, there's no way." He's like, "Look, you're just going to sit home playing video games by yourself. Come on, give it a try. Stop being a stick in the mud." And so I'm like, "Okay." And so we went out running a few times over the summer. And then at the end of the summer, it's the fall, and that's cross country running season. It's the same as soccer season, right, in high school. And so I go to my first cross country running practice, and I'm the slowest guy on the team. Okay, like, we have to do our warm up, and we had a pretty low income, fairly low income rural high school. We did not have a track or track and field or any of that kind of stuff, but we had a soccer field, and so for a warm up, we would run around the soccer field to warm up before our major run and workout. And so we'd run we had to run around the soccer field 4 times and do 2 miles. And I remember, I was just sucking wind, when you feel like the blood in your mouth, or if you feel the iron, if you're not in shape and you get really winded. And I felt like my muscles were going to rip right off of my legs. And, like, I was just like, I was not in a good state during that first practice. And 3 times around that soccer field, and boom, all of a sudden, for the first time in my life, I got hit with an endorphin high, and I just shot straight to the moon. And I was like, for the first time in my life, That's my first like memory of experiencing life without stress. I was just elevated. I, completely felt spectacular. And I was like, holy moly, I want more of that. Right. And so I continued to get my butt handed to me for the rest of practice. I was totally wiped by the time I was done, but I wanted more when I came back. And so I started going to practice for 2 weeks, and turned out that it was time for me to go into my annual leg exam that I had missed for 3 years in a row. So I go into the hospital. They X-ray me. The doctors talk to me. They're like, "What's going on? You're like, we should have dealt with this by now. Why, your bones are hardening up. Like, unless we do something immediately, you're gonna have to just live with this." They're like, most kids grow out of this by your age, or we use braces, before they get to your age to straighten their legs out. We didn't use braces with you because you weren't coming in. And so, like, either you're going to have to live with these twisted, deformed legs for the rest of your life, or we're going to break them. And we're going to put flat brakes in both of your legs or in both of your femurs. And we're going to spin your legs around forward. And then we're going to put in 6 to 8 pins in each leg to hold them in place. And then we're going to put you in full leg casts from your hips all the way down for 6 months to a year. And then after that, you're going to get braces, leg braces for another 6 months to a year. How's that sound? I'm like, are you serious? Will I ever be able to run again? Because what happened during that first 2 weeks of cross-country running season is, like, I found my first true love in terms of a passion, like something other than wasting my life watching cartoons and playing video games and like hating school and whatever. Like, I hadn't found anything at that point in my life that I could dig into and that I really was proud of, that I cared about, where I had confidence and where I wanted to like push myself. But with running, somehow miraculously I did, despite the odds. And what happened was I said, okay, let's schedule in. Oh, I said, will I ever run again? And they're like, no. I mean, no. Not unless there's like an act of God or something. You know what I mean? Like, no, you're not going to be able to run again after that. Come on. And so I'm like, crap, this sucks. But okay, let's break my legs. Schedule it in. And so we scheduled it in for the day after my birthday, which would have been January 19th of that year, my freshman year in high school, after the cross country season was done. And I was like, okay, I got one cross country season for my life in front of me. Let's give it a go. And so what happened is I started like running to school in the morning. And then I went to school all day, and then I had practice. And then a couple weeks later, I'd start running home. And it was like 7 miles. Okay. So like all I was doing was running and recovering from running, like all day. Like I was sometimes running 20 miles a day as a freshman with deformed legs. And like, I was giving it everything I had. And like my coach, Bill Bellion, who's also the French teacher, had a huge forehead vein, and he'd scream at you. Like he'd yell at you. And very low tolerance for BS, and awesome. Like such an awesome individual, like the amount that I learned from this guy. But what happened is, over the course of the cross-country running season, I went from being the slowest guy on the team to occasionally being a scoring member of the team, which meant like if I ran fast enough, sometimes I would be one of the top 7 runners on our team. And usually the last, the 6th or the 7th runner at best. But like, because we had a small team, there weren't a lot of people on the team. And so, but by the end of the season, back in high school, everybody called me Telly. right? Short for Tellman. And so he's like, Telly, come here. He like pulled me over. I thought he was going to yell at me for something, for goofing off or whatever. We're running around the field, and he's like, yells at me to come over, and he's like, he asked me if I'd been looking at my stride or my legs. I'm like, no. What are you talking about? And he's like, I think your stride's changing. I think your legs are straightening out. And sure enough, he was right. And it had happened very slowly for me, and I hadn't really been considering it. But literally, I was running so hard and with so much dedication, like, and focus. The muscles in my legs got so strong that they literally bent the bones back around forward in one season. And after that season, I went back to the hospital for a scheduled like check-in kind of a thing. And they looked at me, and they scanned me, and they x-rayed me, and they were like, what's going on? Like, what happened? It was like a medical miracle situation. And my legs had literally bent back around forward. And that was my first experience with mind over matter. Literal, practical, real world. You set your mind to something, and you give it everything you've got, and you do not look back, and you go and you go and you go and you go. Period. Do not make excuses, and just go after it with everything. And for me, my legs bent around, and it created this enormous continual sense of self-confidence and momentum, to where I ended up becoming the captain of the cross country team, and the fastest runner in the school, and then one of the fastest runners in the state. And then I ran on a national team in college, and never had to have the operation. And for me anyway, running became like a spiritual practice. It became the way that I could connect with myself and connect with meaning. And so, so running's a big part of my life, and I absolutely love it. And so that's the story of my twisted and deformed legs, Brian T. Edmondson.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. The only part of your story I didn't like was when you equated playing video games with wasting your life. I actually took personal offense to that.
Oh, well, you can take offense. That's fine with me.
Well, and for some people watching, they may not know. You talked a little bit about the run Tellman run. Just tell people who don't know real quick, like what that was about. You were running across the country barefoot, right?
Yeah. So I had a really good friend growing up in high school in particular, named Tyler Blaine. And we roomed together for a while in college. And my son's middle name is Tyler because Tyler was going to be his godfather. But Tyler, unfortunately, passed away much earlier than, well, maybe he passed away when he should have. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. It sucked. He died early. And he is the kind of guy that he worked in homeless shelters and did a lot of homeless outreach, and just was the most kind-hearted, guy you can possibly imagine. He's the kind of guy that would, like, in the middle of winter in New England, fill up a giant frame pack halfway with firewood and halfway with canned food, and hike, a mile and a half up like a backwoods, back road driveway through 2 feet of snow to bring like a single mom with 5 kids in a cabin some food and firewood if they needed it. Kind of a, that he didn't even know kind of a guy, and so he died unexpectedly. And that's the kind of stuff he kind of, it's what he gave his life to, that's what he was doing with his life, and that type of work. And shortly thereafter, Torger was born, and I also found myself on Necker Island. with Joe Polish and Yannick Silver and Dean Graziosi and all these awesome people, and Richard Branson. And we were there.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Right? We were there on an entrepreneurial trip that Joe Polish and Yannick Silver co-organized to brainstorm and help each other, but to also spend a bunch of time brainstorming ways to help Virgin Unite, Richard Branson's nonprofit, raise money. And so at the time, they only had one United States-based initiative. And that initiative was around youth homelessness. And when I was posed with this question, I mean, we were all posed with this question, but like when I was thinking about the question, how can I help? How can I raise money and help contribute to Virgin Unite? I was like, well, I live in the United States. They only have one US-based initiative. It's around homeless youth. Maybe I should run across the country and raise a bunch of money. That would be pretty badass, right? And everybody was like, yeah. So, and I felt like I had more money than God at that particular point in time. And this probably would have been.
You might have with 30,000 paying members. I don't know. We'll have to do the math.
I definitely didn't have more money than God, but I felt like I did. I thought that I did. I had more money than I had ever had in my life before, and it just kept on flowing, like easily. And so I was like, oh, sure, I can spend the next 2 years training for and like running across the United States of America without having it impact my life or business in a negative way. And I can pour all my company's profits into it. No problem. No problem. And so but that was all my choice. Like I made a bunch of stupid financial decisions. But what did happen was, I ended up deciding to try to run across America barefoot because I was looking for a way to make it relevant, but I couldn't find a way to make the run buzzworthy because I wasn't going to be the fastest person because I hadn't been training for a decade for that kind of distance. Like that's how you become the fastest person to run across America is you train for 10 years, and I wasn't going to do it blindfolded or run backwards or juggling or I was like, that'd be kind of cheese ball. And then it was right when the barefoot running movement was beginning to kind of take hold in pop culture. Like people were hearing about it and there were articles being written and Born to Run came out and all that stuff. And so I was like, okay, barefoot running. And so my old running partner, Ben Ivey, actually had suggested barefoot running to me 3 months before the run was scheduled to start. And 3 months before the run across the country was starting, September 9th, 2009, I decided to stop running with shoes 3 months before the run began. And all of my running advisors told me, no, Tellman, do not do that. You will mess yourself up. All the barefoot running veterans or the veteran barefoot runners and all the veteran ultra distance, like guys that run across the country and or do it regularly, which there are, believe it or not, people that run across the country regularly. They're all like, dude, you're done. Dude, you'll kill yourself. Like your body will not be able to adapt fast enough for you to go from to running a marathon a day barefoot. Like you can't do it that fast. And I was like, you don't know who I am. I'm Tellman Knudsen. Don't you hear about my legs? And but like I felt like I had superpowers. Like really, genuinely. And so I acted like I had superpowers and my body did not have superpowers. And so we did raise just shy of 300 grand that went directly to homeless youth shelters across America. And we did create a documentary, which was really cool. You can watch it on YouTube. It's like 45 minutes, Run Tellman Run. And so, and I am still in touch with some of the kids whose lives we positively impacted as a result of Run Tellman Run. So there were a lot of really amazing things that happened, but it almost bankrupted my company. It was right when the recession was hitting and I had poured all my extra money into into Run Tellman Run, not into stabilizing my company. And ultimately, Run Tellman Run ended early. And I think a week later, I had to let go 35 full-time employees because we had been cash upside down for like 9 months. And we were like running out of dough because we were paying everybody super well, but the money wasn't coming in. And I'd spent all the extra profits we had making Run Tellman Run work. And so it was a really hard time. It was a really difficult time to recover from, but did successfully in the end. So that's the story of Run Tellman Run in all its epic proportions.
Wow. We got 2 stories for one.
Boom. 2
and the
for
big
1.
takeaway is
Mind over matter.
Over matter.
It is indeed. And so the other big takeaway that I've discovered in all of this time, like starting multiple businesses, including nonprofits, which was Tellman.org, and all these things, is that there's been one like real core principle that has allowed me to do stuff like Run Tellman Run and go to Necker Island and like do all these things, which is a simple idea, a simple principle. And if you can remember this every day and really focus on it in your life and business, your life will continue to improve, which is the money is in the what, Brian?
List.
The money is in the list. Email marketing and list building has created the security and the ability for me to continually make more money from anywhere I go, whether I want to work from home and be around my kids or travel around the world, right? The money is in the list. And so if you desire to do cooler things and you want the freedom and flexibility of having the time and the travel freedom to live the kind of lifestyle wherever it is that you wish to live, I highly recommend that you learn how to build yourself a hyper-responsive, wildly profitable email list. And if you want to do that, I'm happy to teach you how. So if you want to do that, first thing I need you to do is down in the comments below, write the money is in the list. Craig says in the comments, and send me a private message. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a link. It's kind of a clunky link. I need to make a better link. I'm going to add a post comment here. We're going to say, go here. If you want to build your list, Carl and Jacqueline. Hi, Craig. Craig says, I remember chatting during that time. I experimented with barefoot running because of Tellman's Run. You know what, Craig, I would love to know this from you and Carl and Jacqueline and everyone who's here with us live and everyone who is here with us later. What is the best thing going on in your life right now? What are you happiest or most excited about? While you guys are thinking and typing, Brian, right now in this moment, what are you happiest or most excited about right now?
Great question. For me personally, I guess who else would it be for if it's my thing? But you know, in the last 2.5 years of law school, by the way, takes a lot of time out of your life to do things, and you really have to, prioritize. But one thing I've really been letting go is just being consistent with like diet, exercise, taking care of my physical health and my mental health. So something this semester that I made a priority to focus on was both my physical and mental health. So I'm happy to say, to answer your question, I've developed a regular practice of mindfulness, and I've been consistently working out for the last month. So for me, that's a huge win.
Cool. Nice. And Brian, when you're working out, what's a workout look like for you right now?
Right now, so I've been doing either a spin in the, well, actually, so it's three things I rotate through, right? So I'll do a high intensity interval training spin in the morning
Yeah. Yeah.
on one day. I'll do a lower intensity, just like a walk around the block another day. And then I'll do weight training on another day. And I kind of rotate through those three things.
Cool. Well, Craig, stoked about healing. I don't, if you care to tell us what you're healing from, Craig, go for it. If it's too personal, then don't. I'm glad you're healing. I'm not sure what you're healing from, but happy healing. I hope you heal strongly and well. Carl is making some new friendships, which is awesome. New friends are great, dude, especially as an adult. Like, you got to keep making new friends. That's so important. You can't take the ball off making new friends, and like, your life can go to hell real fast. I found new friends are really, really great. And Jacqueline is launching Cosmic Light Academy. Boom! Cosmic Light it up. That's awesome.
I love it.
And Craig is mastering his metabolism and high performance brain stuff. Nice. Very
Craig, by the
cool.
way, Tellman, Craig was one of the original speakers for the List Profit Academy way back in the day.
Yes. Craig was also directly involved in the first project that I ever did that made any money, that I made any money from online, which was the Nitro Marketing Mindset with Matt Gill and Kevin Wilkie.
Oh, wow.
Craig Perrine was one of the people on their team at the time, and I interviewed him as part of that course, as part of that CD set. And it was, so Craig and I go way back. It's awesome. And Jacqueline is working on a training school for higher consciousness, training instructors, intuitives, healers, and giving them the courses to trash. I think she means teach. Cool. Or maybe it's trash. I don't know what. I'm working on a training called Shit I Learned That You Should Know.
Love it.
Nice. And Craig says that was awesomeness. It was indeed. Cool, guys. So I'm going to let you in on one more thing. No, I won't. You'll have to tune in tomorrow for the one more thing. We have a secret project, and the secret project hit this week. It came out of nowhere. I was not looking for a new idea. I was not looking for a new project. I've been trying to like put the blinders on and stay focused and keep, not be an ADD Distractitron 2000. And what happened was I had a conversation with Josh Burns, my friend, old business partner. Prior to that was copywriting apprentice turned copywriter, later on turned business partner. And he has given up internet marketing and copywriting entirely, and is now working with his hands as an electrician, and he installs like heat pumps and all sorts of stuff, and he loves it, which is great. Awesome. He had a total career change, but he's a brilliant copywriter and a really smart marketer. And he always has a fresh eyes for this stuff because he's not in it all the time. I had this awesome conversation with him about how to create a more effective copywriting apprenticeship program for our company. And out of that came this new secret project that is going to be the best marketing interview series that you've ever seen. It's going to blow your mind. I'm not going to tell you anymore, but if you want to know more, if you want to get on the secret project list, you can write secret project. I was going to tell you more about what it's called, but I'm not. You can write secret project in the comments and shoot me a text saying you want to know about the secret project, and we'll make you one of the first invitees to the group and some of the other cool platforms that we're using to promote it. So we got some secret project. Oh, Curtis! Boom! What's up, Curtis? Curtis is starting his consistency coaching. Curtis, you need to be Curtis, awesome. Mr. Consistency. That's it. Mr. Consistency. Consistency. Write a book called Consistency. Just like do it, dude. Consistency coaching. Boom. So good. Awesome. And we got Secret Project from Carl. We got Secret Project from Craig. We got Secret Project from Curtis. Everybody wants to know about the Secret Project, and you're going to very soon. I will be sure to invite you. It's honestly, it's an awesome idea. I'm really happy about it. I think you will be too. So far, everybody I've talked to about it, without telling anybody what it is. Oh, by the way, here I can give you a little hint. This was another thing that came out of the car ride with Teal the other night, last night, is we could use the term, and I'm not going to give any more away, but we could use the term mission control. Mission control, right? See how that works? Really good. So anyway, that's a hint, but you're not going to be able to guess what it means. It's going to drive you crazy. Sorry. But we will tell you. Yeah. So Brian, what do you have to say about the Secret Project in terms of how it makes you feel, or some of the conversations we've had about it? Without telling anybody what it is, what's your experience of thinking about the Secret Project?
Yeah, it's a really cool project. I think when people hear about it, they're going to love it. It's an idea that I think is going to really speak to a lot of people, and it's going to be a community or an idea that they want to be involved with and surround themselves. So without being any more cryptic, keep your eyes peeled for the Secret
Project. Type Secret Project into the comments if you want to talk. If you want to learn about it and get on the early Secret Project list. This is brand new, and we haven't talked to anybody about it publicly before. I've told less than half a dozen people about it so far. So maybe about half a dozen at this point. But yeah, it's super cool. All right, Jacqueline wants to know, when are we going live and how often? The answer is we are going live every day, and we are starting to go live earlier and earlier, somewhere between 9 and 10:30 in the morning Eastern. And today, I did not get a lot of sleep last night, so I needed to take a midday nap. And so we decided to live stream a little bit later today because I was tired. So apparently it worked out well. We got a lot of people on here chatting and making noise and engaging, and that's been really fun. So I think we are going to wrap now, however, and appreciate all of you raising your hand and saying what's up. It was good seeing you all, and I would love to see you again, and I will be in touch with everyone who's interested in the Secret Project and or building your email list. All right, Brian, do you have anything to say before we wrap this up?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, bye, everyone. Have a great day and wonderful weekend. Toodaloo.